Episode number 36.
36.
Famous-
I don't know. Do you got an NBA player who's 36?
I mean, none other than maybe the most famous Celtic of all time, Shaquille O'Neal.
He was 36 in Boston?
He was number 36.
You know what's cool?
In Boston.
He's coming to Albuquerque. They just announced that today. I'll talk
Is he going to DJ?
Yep, DJ Diesel's coming to Albuquerque.
No, we're going.
Yep. So episode 36, though.
That's
really
right.
cool episode.
It's a good episode. Spent some time talking about our events over the weekend. We had some cool ones.
Yeah, a lot of fun ones. We had 3 total, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought the grab bags were really nice, good tips, and how we just broke down a lot of these different opinions on like DJs and
and then some
music
trends.
curation.
Yeah, and some trends going into 2024.
Good trends, honestly. Really cool trends.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into the grab bag section and give you guys some new jams to add to your Bollywood playlist.
I think you mean back to the music section, don't you?
What did I say?
You said the grab bag section.
Yeah.
But it's all good because we're going to go
that one
back.
too.
Yeah, you're going to get the grab bag. You're going to
all
get back
confused.
to the music. You're going to get it all.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what you're going to get. All right.
I think you guys are going to enjoy
You know what?
this
You're going to
episode,
hear
honestly.
probably why I'm forgetful because I had a little incident happen at my event over the weekend. So you got to listen to the episode and you'll know why. I don't know
It's a good
what
story,
the heck
guys.
I'm talking about
it's
right
honestly
now.
hilarious. It's a really good story, so check it out.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Let's get into
jump
it.
in. Let's go.
Let's go.
What do you like better, Christmas or wedding season?
Mr. Gray.
Yes. The answer would be wedding season.
Bingo.
Well, you've just inspired me to hire a DJ, so thank you.
Oh, well, good luck finding a DJ who can move and shake like this.
You're now listening to Cutmaster Cast.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, peeps,
Yep.
to another round of the Cutmaster Cast. This is your weekly dose of wedding industry insights. My name is Chris Romero.
And my name is Tony Pacheco. What's up, everybody?
And we are DJs with Cutmaster Music out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. Welcome to the show. And for those of you that keep making it a week in, week out journey with us, we appreciate you all. On this podcast, we like to dive into 3 areas of discussion, including our weekly events. Then we have wedding industry business tips and hacks. And at the end of every episode, you know how we do it.
We take it back to the music, baby.
Yeah, we go back to the music, and today should be a fun one when we get to that portion. And don't forget, we would love it if you would share the episode and the pod if you think that this would be helpful to some other vendors or some couples that could use some tips out there. You can find us on all socials at Cutmaster Music as well. So let's dive into the events.
Busy weekend.
It was pretty busy. First of all, even before we get to that, I just got to tell you, I'm a little stoked right now. I just picked up. They announced 311 Day for next year, and
when is that?
That is 311 Day is going to be on the 9th and 10th of March. It's going to lead into 311, I think.
Yeah.
I bet you the second night they're going to have going into midnight or something like that. But it's 2 days out in Vegas.
Nice.
You guys know, if you've been listening long enough, you know my infatuation, my love of 311.
Yes, you are a massive fan of 311.
I'm a
for
pretty
sure.
big fan. So stoked that they announced a 2-day concert, and my wife and I got my tickets this morning. I'm stoked.
That's dope. They you said they normally do 3 days, right?
They have. They did three days. I think that was for their 20 year, 30 year. I don't know.
How many 311 days have you done?
Personally, so they do every other year is a 311 day, and then on the off year they do a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done the cruise, unfortunately. That's been on the bucket list for us, but this will be my 4th 311 day that I think I've done.
Yeah.
They haven't been doing them. I mean, I don't know. I don't know when the first one was, but they're marathons, man. So they play like 3 to 4 hour sets each night, and it's only them. There's no openers.
Wow.
And it's and they don't repeat any songs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
their music library is huge, and it's super fun. It's always nostalgic. It takes me back to my youth. But they've been making music. They're still making music. Those
Yes,
guys,
they are.
and that's why I love them, because they're a band that's just really evolved over time. I love live music. This band, they keep doing it. And it's just good vibes, and the community around it now. It reminds me of like, people have talk about like the Grateful Dead, right?
Okay.
Whereas that band got older, the following just became larger and larger, and then you had these diehards that would just go all over the country and
Yeah.
follow these guys, right? And that's really what 311 is for me. It's like my Grateful Dead, and the community is just so much fun. So like around these
That's so
311
cool.
days, everybody's staying in the hotel room. You're rocking your 311 shirts,
311
and jerseys.
homies everywhere.
Totally,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
cool.
everybody, and it's good vibes. So
Nice.
stay positive and love your life. That's the mantra.
Definitely. That's really cool.
Yep.
There's a festival that we went to this year called M3F.
Oh, yeah.
That's first weekend in March, and we're pretty sure we're going to do that as well. So
Heck yeah.
that'll be a fun one.
All right, cool. So let's get into it. I know you had 2 events this weekend.
did,
I
yeah.
had one.
I had a fall bash on Wednesday for my mom's
Oh.
school. Started that off, right?
That's right.
It was
How was that?
it's fine,
Okay,
easy.
what age kids are we talking about here?
K through 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they all spoke Spanish, so
Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried to keep them more. It was Albuquerque Bilingual Academy, so I already knew going in, okay, these kids probably speak Spanish.
Right.
And so I was like playing a lot of more Selena, Bad Bunny, stuff like that, Suavemente. But the way they had it structured was I played for 30 minutes, mariachi came on for an hour, and then I played for the
Ah.
last 30 minutes. So it was fine, but I honestly just sat there and answered emails and just did other things. But it was good. Then Saturday I was at Sandia Event Center with JJ. Ashley's normally there. She's been on the pod, but she had to tend to some other things. And so JJ took on the role of lead there, and she did a good job. She crushed it, did a phenomenal job keeping everything organized, helping me with whatever I needed. But the overall day was really, really fun. The one thing I learned was like how important it is to have a strong MC when you have a crowd of 200 people. And it was actually like 250 people. Like this room was packed. I was tucked in the corner. You could barely see me or like,
Oh, no.
and I had the video DJ booth and I was like, well, at least I'm close to the dance floor. That's what I told the staff there. I was like, I'd rather be here than on the other side of the room. So
Right.
take with what you get. But the event was really good. They did Cold Sparks. They did Fog Machine. They had hired an outside source.
Oh, wow.
So it was crazy the amount of like moving parts that we had to make things happen.
So tell me your experience with those Cold Sparks. We've talked about them
It was
on
fine.
this show.
There was a lot of
But were you next? I was just gonna ask. Were you next to them?
What was nice because I was shoved in the corner. All the mess was very like at least 10 feet, 12 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
So but dude, you have 3 guys.
Residue all over the place.
Residue everywhere. 3 guys on deck with towels, and so they're just, and I was just, and he was really cool guy. They didn't even book. They only booked the Cloud Machine, the Nimbus, smoke, dry ice into hot water. Right. Really cool. But he was like, yo, this crazy story. The bride had found, he was at another wedding that morning. The bride canceled that wedding because he had found out the groom was cheating on her.
What?
This was a whole separate wedding that same day on this Saturday. Yeah. For real. So that happens, and he goes, yep. And so he goes, well, I've got these Cold Sparks in the back of my truck loaded up and ready to go. They have to be used. So would you like to use them? And she was like, yes, that'd be fantastic. And he was like, oh, cool. I've got 4 of them. They loaded it up, did everything. But, it was kind of, it looked good and everything. But there were times during dinner where he was like bringing it out and like setting it up. Nothing against him, but it was just, it didn't look as good as he'd wanted it to. I bet you, though, if he had planned for it, it would have already been set up. So I'll give him that. But that was really cool for all of that. Very straightforward, light formalities. And we danced for probably 3-4 hours. But what was cool about them is they knew what they wanted very much so. They gave me 150 do not plays.
Oh, dang.
I've never had that in my life. I usually get 5.
What was on there?
Let's see. It's going to be everything you hear at a wedding, typical. Like everything you would hear typically at a wedding. Line dances, Boot Scoot Boogie, Don't Stop Believin', Marry You, Bruno Mars, Amaze, Lone Star, We Are Family, Gangnam Style, I Got a Feelin', Raise Your Glass, Pink, right? These
All
are
right.
things you hear.
Right. So like, a lot of that, like, I guess, your wedding mainstream stuff.
But what's interesting, though, is like they still wanted fantasy Mariah Carey, and so, but that was because they were big hip hop and 90s R&B, 2000s R&B, hip. We'll talk about it more in Back to the Music, but they were really in on that type of vibe, and so we sprinkled in a couple dance hits here and there. I did a Money Trees, Kendrick Lamar house remix that they loved, right? But for the most part, you were in that 100 BPM range all night, and they stayed all night. We even ended with Boys to Men. What is it? What was that one? Not Crossroads.
End of the world.
End of the world. Yes.
It's not end of the world.
End of the road.
End of the road.
End of the
End of the world.
No. Yeah. No, but it was cool because at the end of it all, they all kumbaya'd big. End of the road. I killed the music, and they kept singing it.
So it's funny that they dug that, since it's like a song talking about like breaking up. Like,
yeah.
Come to the end of the road.
Well, they weren't. I mean, the bride and groom weren't there for the last 45 minutes.
Oh.
They left, and this was actually I thought, oh, cool. Once bride and groom typically are done.
Yeah, that's usually the end of the night.
Dramatically drop, right? And a great example is what happened on Sunday. But before that, we they just kept dancing. Big party group. I got this wedding from the wedding that I did in Cancun. These are close friends of mine who, it's funny because Bao, who's on Cutmaster team, is family, friends with all these people and connected. I went to high school with one of these people who actually kind of married into this family, but they've been homies forever now. We've been friends and family with them. And so they walked in and they were like, oh, you're DJing, let's go. Like none of the homies knew I was going to be DJing, and I saw a lot of cool friends. It was kind of like a reunion from Cancun, right, with all of those people. That was the last time they saw me. So that was really fun. Great wedding, super successful. And then Sunday, we had a great friender, Maria Socha. She used to be a wedding planner here, did a Casa Vieja in Corrales.
Right.
I've worked with her quite a few times, but then she's getting married, so she had to have the A-team, right?
So I think like that's always like what do you call it? Like just the most I don't know, the greatest feeling, the most humbling feeling, the great, super grateful when you are asked to do and perform your service for another vendor, right? Another or person in the industry. I
agree.
It's also a little pressure, right? Like, man,
I was nervous,
and more so not because you don't. It's you're not. What you're capable of doing. It's just you want to do the best for them, right? Like,
well, I had a late night. I got home pretty late after ending my wedding at midnight on Saturday.
Right.
I had to go pick up my girlfriend, be her DD, and it was a late night. And so for me, I was trying to explain to a lot of people. They were like, "No, stay," and I was like, "Guys, you don't understand what is at stake tomorrow. This is Maria Socha. You guys have no idea who she is, but in the wedding community, she's a name, and I have to be on point. I cannot miss tomorrow." And so I was like, there's very few times where I'm going to be like, you know what, I'll stay. I'll party with you guys. But I'm like, no, I have to go home and go to bed because I can't miss tomorrow.
Right.
No room for error. And that's me every wedding, right? But like, it was very much amplified, and so you just make sure you have all your ducks in a row, prep the same way we do. But she had a lot of really cool elements from her wedding that showcased New Mexico a lot.
Yeah, and Santa Fe, La Fonda.
Oh yeah, Santa Fe, La Fonda.
I saw someone had posted, footage of them walking in the plaza after the ceremony.
Yep,
and,
they did all of that. They had the mariachi march them around. Her uncle did the ceremony. This guy was on point. He was funny, beautiful, elegant, everything. It was one of the coolest ceremonies I've ever seen. And he was just a guy. He wasn't an officiant. He was just his uncle. And so, but they were like, "Yep, that's Uncle Wayne." And I was like, "Dang, cool."
That's awesome.
But yeah, we had Emily and Seiji running video.
Yeah, I saw
that. Talitha Taro doing photo. Shout out to Talitha.
Yeah.
And then we had Shelby doing all the planning. She did fantastic. She really helped me feel. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be a longer day, but I got Shelby. I got an A-team with me.
Right.
So I'm not really worried. And honestly, that was really what pushed us through. The fact that we were all so aligned with knowing each other, working with each other.
Yeah, comfort level and stress levels just like are at zero, right?
At zero. It dropped dramatically, and we were all just working so in sync, and it worked out really well. We were maybe 10, 20 minutes behind, and we were like, this is fine. We're good. It's going to time out really nicely because we've all been there before, and we know how these places work. Everybody's been at La Fonda. Shelby, this was actually her first wedding there.
Oh, yeah.
She had told me that. I was like, wow, I'm surprised to hear that. But shout out her. You did a fantastic job, Shelby. I know she's listening. So
Yep.
You did a really, really good job.
Shelby.
Always make my life easier. So.
Crushing it. Always.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, but the day was unique. She had mentioned in our planning meeting that she didn't have a big dancey crew. But what I did is I read the crowd, understood that we were going to sprinkle in some disco and different things, but country really got them out there. Very much a peak and valley wedding where we were able to get Maria and her new groom Brian out there. They were having a lot of fun. There were moments where they went and talked. I made a joke. I was like, the dessert bar is a bigger hit than I am because everybody flooded to that thing. But they were bomb desserts, dude.
You know what? I think that there's, for DJs out there that I think a lot of us, we've got egos, I know that, and we want every wedding to be this crazy ragers. And I've always said I don't ever judge the success of a wedding based on a dance floor. And people might say, well, as a DJ, why not? Like that should be your biggest thing is getting people dancing. And that's not what every event necessarily calls for. You know, if you just have two families that they're not big dancers, I think the worst thing to do is to try to make someone that's not a dancer try to become a dancer and just put them in a very uncomfortable zone, right? Mm-hmm. When all they want to do to have a good time for those type of people is just have great conversation, but have good vibes in the background. Yeah. And I always look for are people just kind of subconsciously tapping their feet and nodding their head, but while they're in conversation. Yeah. And you're still providing this atmosphere, right? Of it's like the safe zone and of people feeling good. And ultimately that's what I want. I want people at an event to just feel good, have good vibes, have great conversation. If you want to dance and if we have a dance crowd, then that's where I think a great DJ can take it next level, right? Mm-hmm. But I think a bad DJ is going to be someone that tries to do some gimmicky things.
Trying to force it.
Yeah. And when you just really don't need to. And, and then people walk away with those bad feelings of
God, that he was just too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The music was too loud, you know, and just in their face when that's not really what that party called for to be successful.
Yeah, they were looking more for intimate conversations and really nice desserts to have while they did dance. And
right. And when you have those moments of dancing, that's when you take advantage of those times, right?
Exactly.
Make them the best.
For me, I was like, you're getting drowned in every heavy hitter because I'm only going to have you for a certain amount of time, but it worked out really well. And the way I look at it, earlier on, when I was reflecting on events, I used to get bummed out when it wasn't the biggest event I've ever had with everybody jumping. But now I look back and reflect and think, how did the bride feel on that day? How did the groom feel? Did they have fun? Were they thanking me for everything at the end of the night, right? Was it something that they envisioned to really play out the way they wanted it to, or was it something not really? And so I think, yes, it was peaks and valleys, but there was a moment where everyone was on the dance floor. I saw Maria having fun. I saw Brian having fun. Everybody was truly dancing. We had line dances. We were catering to certain people towards the end of the night. And then, honestly, they were done about 9 o'clock. Maria and Brian, they left, like I was saying. Once they leave, typically, a lot of guests dramatically leave after that. So I was playing for a couple teenage girls, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry's line dances, right? And then after that, she was like, you know what, you're good. You could turn it down and no worries. And I was like, okay, great, because they had a really fun night. They didn't anticipating dancing as much as they did. Yeah. So I took that as a win. I was like, okay, we did a bunch of fun, unique things for them, and they left incredibly happy. And so worked out.
That's awesome. Congrats to Maria. So happy for you. It's we've been working with her for years.
Beautiful wedding. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to say was the no up lighting for dinner. So when the dance lighting hit, it really hit.
Yeah, made a
We
big
didn't do any
impression.
tubes or anything. She really wanted to enhance the beauty of the hotel.
Yeah.
And then during like the visuals for our video DJ booth, she had New Mexico visuals. So I did a slideshow of like 50 different things: mariachi, ristras, churches. I even
that's
threw a
cool.
Georgia O'Keeffe painting in there. Because I was asking ChatGPT, give me things that are.
Did you put a Breaking Bad picture on there?
I thought about it. And I was like, that seems. That seems because it gave me
maybe not for a wedding.
yeah, right. But I thought so. What I thought about was like doing a mesa and like maybe like some smoke in the background.
Some blue smoke coming out in the background.
But then I was like, nah, just keep it nice and elegant and pretty. So that was good. But you what about you? Where were you at?
You know what? Hold on. There's going back to that. So for a while there, I was actually playing. I got this version of I think it's this one. And I don't have this. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would play this during cocktail hour.
Yes, dude. This song always hits.
Yeah. Or dinner time, right?
Yeah. Crystal Blue Persuasion, right?
Persuasion, totally.
I love this song.
I know, such a good track. So yeah, sometimes I'll throw that in there. Good jam. Okay, so let's talk about mine. This one was fun. I've been looking forward to this wedding for a while now, just because of the different elements that were coming together with it, and I just knew it was going to be super unique. So first of all, I was in Santa Fe.
Nice.
I know it's
pretty rare.
Like wow.
No, I mean you go to Bishop's.
Yeah. There's place. So actually, and this is the first time I'd ever done an event here. It was at the Museum of International Folk Art.
Okay.
Which was really cool. I mean, huge space with their own parking. I'll definitely do events there in the future.
Nice.
This is one
Nice and easy.
So the load-in is, like I said, they've got their own parking space. There's this like huge ramp that goes up. We could basically load right up to the building that we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
The ceremony was amazing. So this was an Indian Chinese fusion wedding. The bride was Indian, the groom was Chinese, and we were bringing in like two completely different cultures together, right? And that's why I was really looking forward to this wedding. A lot of cultural elements from both sides.
Yeah.
So for the ceremony, for traditional Indian weddings, they have this portion called the Baraat. And basically, long story short, this is where, the groom's family would travel from their village in India to, I believe it's, going to the ceremony spot, meeting up with the bride's family and that sort of thing, right? Okay. So in Indian weddings that I've done in the past, usually they're going from one part of the hotel to the other, and it involves music and drums and all this fun. Like it's
nice.
And they're singing.
Yeah.
Like we're singing and we're walking to the ceremony site.
Okay.
So they did this with the groom, but remember, he's Chinese. Okay. They brought in Chinese dragons.
Yes.
And they had the Chinese drums. And so all of the groom's family was at one portion. They all walked in with the dragons. The dragons came around the ceremony spot and did like their kind of blessing of the area and stuff. And that's
cool.
It was so cool. And so then they did the ceremony. And that lasted about an hour. That was like abbreviated. And for those of you that have ever been to Indian ceremonies, know that typically like an Indian wedding goes through like 3 days.
Yeah, it's like a big event.
Right.
It's a huge thing.
So they did like an abbreviated ceremony, but then they incorporated like elements once again from both sides. So they did the Indian elements where they walked around the fire.
Are you timing any kind of music with that, or?
So I did have some music with some like background music with some of this stuff.
Because that's a very unique thing about Indian weddings is like just having that kind of role in the background.
Yep. So we had some of this music here. I'll play it while I'm talking in the background. All right.
Exactly. Yep.
So we have this stuff going in the background. The priest is doing his thing, but then they also had narrators. So I had 2 different microphones. I had to turn down the priest, let him do his ceremonial duties.
Yeah.
While the narrators were telling us, okay, this is what is going on now. Like they are doing this blessing.
Yep.
So they did a lot of that stuff. They incorporated the Chinese elements, like the sharing of tea.
Oh, nice.
Each other and stuff. So it was just really cool. The ceremony was beautiful.
How long was it?
About an hour.
Yeah.
It was long. And then we went into cocktail hour. Cocktail hour was also outside.
Nice.
That was great. And then we came inside for the reception. And I know there were a few things I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, inside for the reception, it was super cool, and lots of just like kind of surprise elements throughout the night. So there's a lot of different dances. Like the bride's sister did a dance for her. Then the bride's mom and aunt came out and did a surprise dance for them.
What?
And
They're like performances?
yeah, it's like performances, like during dinner.
And you're timing all these tunes, or no?
So I've got they had already ahead of time sent me the music.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they were
It's pretty easy though.
cuts that they had already made.
Yeah.
Then bride and groom do like a thank you, and then they went into their dance, which was a like surprise performance for the group, for everybody else. And then the music was just super fun. It was like a mix of American jams with Bollywood tunes, and it was funny. I haven't had a chance to really talk with them yet afterward, but I remember the groom telling me beforehand, that the Chinese side, just once again, they weren't big dancers according to him. He's like, if you get them to dance, he's like, oh my gosh, they were all out there dancing.
Nice.
They were all out there to all the Indian jams and all the, because the Bollywood stuff mixes
danceable.
really well. With dance music. And when we get back to the music, I'm actually going to play some of the songs that and share them with you. So if some of you guys might want to hear some of these tunes, like what did I use and how did I mix it?
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. I mean, it turned out to be a great night. It was a wonderful evening. That place, the Museum of International Folk Art. I'll say this. I didn't get a chance to go walk around the entire museum, but that place is cool. If you are looking for something to go do and check out in Santa Fe, go check out that museum. The Museum of International Folk Art. I didn't even know it existed.
I'd never heard of it before you told me where you were at.
It is so cool. There's a lot of cool just...
Where's it at?
It's
in Santa Fe?
It's off of old... what's it called? The old Santa Fe Trail?
Sure. I got you.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
We got the internet.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
go check it out. No, it's cool. It's
nice.
it's a cool
That
spot.
sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one thing I do want to talk about, I was thinking of saving this for our next episode, where we're gonna go into the Halloween special.
Yeah.
Talk about our nightmares.
Yeah. Tease it a little bit. What are we doing for our next episode?
I'll tell you.
Not the story, but what's the plan?
So the plan for the next episode, you guys are going to want to listen to the next one. We're going to release it on Halloween, and it's totally themed out, Halloween vibes. We're going to talk about our nightmares, for our wedding story nightmares.
Or wedding horror stories.
Yeah, wedding horror stories. We'll talk about music and all that stuff as well. Maybe
spooky jams.
Yeah, find some grab bag horror stories to talk about.
Yeah.
So
that's what we'll do for next episode, right?
Next episode. Yep.
Nice.
But I thought about saving this as a horror story because basically one of my nightmares happened.
Nice. I would say save it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you about it. Yeah, I'm not gonna
It's a
save
good
it.
tease.
I can't. I got to get it out there in the world.
Fair enough.
So it's the end of the night, and we're loading in. We're loading into the trailer the gear and equipment, and so I am bent over, ratcheting down just one of our pieces of gear.
Gotcha.
And if you'll notice, a couple of puncture wounds on my forehead right here.
I see.
So all of a sudden, something just
got rough.
falls and nails me
Oh my god.
in the head, and it's one of like our bigger ratchets.
Oh
that we
no.
have. I don't know why. It just
Fell off or whatever.
It like came out of the blue, like
Yeah.
out of nowhere, fell off.
Came loose.
Nails me in the head, and I just feel this massive thing hit me in the head, and I just thought it hit me in the head like no big deal. Dude, I start bleeding all over the place.
Oh no.
Like,
it's messy.
It was bad. It was really bad. I'm holding my head and I can't see it, right? Like I don't know what's going on. It's dark.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting. Nobody's outside because Bennett was inside grabbing stuff and bringing it out. So he comes out and I'm like, Bennett, I need you to come and help me out. Like I just busted my head open. And Taylor Fail, who we've also had in the pod, she was the planner that night.
Nice.
And she hears me from outside and she goes, what? And she walks up to the trailer and just sees I'm not lying. Like I've got to repaint the inside of the
Damn.
trailer. There's so much.
It's a murder scene.
It's a murder. It looks like a murder scene. And she's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "It's okay. I'm all right." I was like, "Bennett, I've got a towel on the inside console of my trailer, or the truck. Go grab it." And so, anyways, the little teeth and the ratchet strap. Must have got me.
I mean, it's a pretty even 2 dots, right?
And so, but I didn't know what it had. I was like, "Is my forehead slit open?" Like,
yeah, right. Well, when you got blood coming down, that's when you're like, "Oh, shit,
it's the and it's the head." If those of you that have ever had anything happen with the head area, no, it just bleeds like crazy, right? So it was pretty gory. Like,
yeah, I remember like just falling really hard on a scooter one time, and I messed my whole face up. But then I was just bleeding so much, and so I don't know why, but.
Yeah, I'm not.
Happens.
You'll see it when next time you go into the trailer. You're gonna be like, "What?
What the heck happened?"
It's all over the floor.
That's
but
hilarious.
I didn't get any on my new shoes, so I was excited about that.
That's important.
Yeah, that
right?
was.
You can always repaint the trailer. You can't repaint the shoes.
This is my first time wearing those shoes, and
well, good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, and the stains came out of my shirt. It was all good. So
nice.
We're good.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's how my night ended, and I was like, "You flipping kidding me?"
That's a bummer for sure.
Yeah.
But glad it was just that. You didn't get a concussion or anything.
No, and
stay up for a little while after.
It was funny. As I was leaving, Taylor was like, "She's like, you better be okay to drive home," and I was like, "It'll be fine."
Yeah,
and I just. It was.
Did you ride? You probably rode with Bennett too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah, but Bennett can't drive like the truck with the trailer. Like
he's all gone as you pass out.
He was thinking, "You better stay up." No,
right? I'd be
honestly.
terrified.
It hit me, but it wasn't like
you would know if you're feeling dizzy or
if I was dizzy or anything that would have even been remotely close to just jeopardizing driving. I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah,
I was just more pissed off than anything. And actually, so by the time
trying to
I
get
got
out
to
of there,
the bathroom, it had already stopped. Like, and you can see it's like 2 little dots.
Yeah.
It's not like anything. It wasn't like my forehead was slit open, which
good.
I was worried. I didn't know. I was worried.
Yeah.
I was like, is my brain exposed right?
My brain exposed.
Yeah, all two of my my marbles in there. I didn't want them to fall out. So
it's funny. Nice.
All right. So yeah, that was my. Maybe I'll retell the story next week in a more gory form.
Blood everywhere.
There was everywhere. I was squirting.
That's funny.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool. So that was our week's events. I'm trying to think. Oh, I've got a wedding coming up on Friday.
Nice.
You doing anything this weekend?
I am at actually Marble Downtown. So if any of
good
y'all are
plug.
listening, I am DJing at Marble Downtown October 28th. This is going to be a costume contest where they're going to have like a prize for the best costume. Me and DJ Flow Fader going back and forth. We structured it similar to how we do our DJ battles. 30 minutes back, or he does 30 minutes, I do 30, he does 30, I do 30. And then, this is actually really cool, he suggested it, we're going to go back and forth, but he'll do 3 tracks, then I'll do 3 tracks, then he'll do 2 tracks, I'll do 2 tracks, 1 track, 1 track, 2 tracks, 2 tracks, 3 tracks.
Oh, yeah.
Like an interesting way to go back and forth.
Pyramid.
Yeah, exactly, because he was like, we were thinking, since it's a battle, maybe we'll pick a winner. But he was like, honestly, bro, let's just both go at it back and forth, then give them a really good show. And I was like, yes, that sounds great. That way we both can have fun and kill it on the dance floor. And
totally.
And 8 to 11 this Saturday, October 28th.
At Marble
Downtown.
Downtown.
And it's they're telling me that they're going to start doing away with DJs at Marble Downtown, which is kind of a bummer, but it's fine.
All right.
They're looking more towards bands and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I can understand that. But that was why they wanted to get me in. They were like, we want to get you in on one more at downtown. So
cool.
Come through.
All right. Pop through. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know it.
You love it.
Gonna do it.
It's time.
It's called
For the Grab Bag.
I had a brain fart right there.
No, we did all right.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. So went to the TikToks. I've got a few here.
Nice.
This one actually is interesting. I was playing it last week. Or it popped up on my feed, and I was playing it, and my wife was listening to it at the same time and was looking at me like, what the? So I think you're going to find this one interesting.
Nice.
This is a bride who is basically taking the claim of setting her DJ up for success for her wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
After our wedding, our DJ sent me this email. He's played over 1,000 events in the DC area. He said it was one of his best DJ sets ever, and if I ever get bored, I should consider DJing because I've got the gift. Not to mention that our dance floor was absolutely electric. Let's talk about everything I did to set up our DJ for success. TLDR is that I went through every single one of our reception songs, and I chose the exact timing that I wanted our DJ to play. Let's talk about why I chose to have a DJ. We did it for 3 reasons. The first was that our venue wasn't big enough to have a band, so that was an easy decision. The second is that me and my friends and my husband and all of his friends have certain songs that we want to hear, and we want to hear the real version, and you just don't get that with a band. The third reason is that it's most cost effective. Here's how I made our dance floor so successful. I spent 1.5 years leading up to our wedding hearing songs at bars and restaurants when we were out and about, on the radio, old songs that came on, songs in movies, and putting them into a list on my notes. So this was the organized version, but when I was putting it together, I was just writing down songs for months and months and months. Leading up to the wedding is when I decided to get it organized. Once I organized it, I found some themes, and so I broke up each part of our event into a different category. For our welcome dinner, we did all pop punk, which was so fun, definitely recommend. For before and during the ceremony, I did all string covers of modern songs. My husband wanted to walk back down the aisle to Oogum Boogum, and so that sort of transitioned us into Motown, jazz, blues for our cocktail hour, which was such a hit. We got married at a restaurant, so our dinner was 2.5 hours long, and so I wanted to make sure that the vibes were immaculate. So I did early dinner and late dinner, and for early dinner, I did some classics that are easy to listen to, and then I transitioned that into songs that are like car sing-along vibes. I have been to a lot of weddings, and my biggest pet peeve is when a DJ plays too long of a song. One time I was at a wedding where they played the entire Crank That Soldier Boy. Do you know how long that song is? So that is why I went through and chose every single song that I wanted played and exactly how long I wanted it played for. And I tell you that I spent 20 hours listening to different songs to figure out exactly what chorus and which verse would lead to the best time. I also think that playing the best songs too early is a death sentence for your wedding, and so I organized mine into early, middle, late, and finale. I also think that there are 2 other death sentences for your wedding. The first is having an outdoor-indoor reception where people can go outside and smoke. And the second is having other things nearby, photo booths, anything is going to distract from the dance floor. For me, the 2 most important things for our wedding, other than the actual marriage, was the food, which is why we got married at a restaurant, and the vibes, which is why I spent so much time doing this for the DJ. We had our venue from 5 until midnight, and when I tell you that we were being dragged out of there by the staff, we had the best time, and all of it was thanks to the music and the DJ.
I get what she's saying. So, brides, if you don't want to do all that, hire us. Because that's what we do. I'm like, that sounds great. That sounds like that's my job.
You know what's funny is you initially listen to that and it's like, wow, that's a lot of work. Like I want
20 hours.
I want to hire her.
Yeah,
like
right.
You put in now you know the work that it takes. Yeah, to do
for one event.
Rush,
yeah.
Right.
And there's some overlap. Obviously, if we know they want what do we say, Hot in Here or Ride With Me Nelly, we know not to play the full song, right? Or even Soulja Boy. I know I have a cue point to jump right to the last chorus because nobody wants to do the Soulja Boy for 3.5 minutes.
So, but it's funny that she's
That's
just
a lot.
totally curating the vibe, and she told her DJ exactly when to start the song and stop the song. And so here's my thing.
I feel a lot of pressure from that.
I'll tell you this. And this popped up in one of my industry groups, right? You know, that this is the direction that our brides are going. And honestly, in all honesty, I don't think this is the direction brides are going. In fact, I think they're going the opposite. They don't want to do all that, right? And that's why they're hiring us. You're right. To be able to do everything that she's doing. She obviously has had some bad experiences with weddings. Mm-hmm. And if this bride were to come to me and tell me, look, I'm going to give you the playlist. I'm going to tell you exactly when to hit start and when to transition and what song you're going to transition to, I would tell her, thank you for considering us as your DJ services, but you just need gear rental. Yeah. And since you need to DJ your own event. Yeah. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be telling her that, but we just aren't the DJs for you if you really need to micromanage.
It's nice to have creative freedom, you know. And a big sell point for me when I talk to couples is, you know what? All you have to do, feed a playlist and then just throw it all into the open dance. I'll go through it and be like, that needs to go in dinner. That needs to go during cocktail.
Well, and the thing is
easier.
Is you don't know what directions your night is going to take, right?
Yes.
Every group and crowd is completely different. And even though you might think, I mean, and I guess it just depends, right? I mean, if it's really important to her to hear all these songs in this order, then that's what that bride wants, But like we've said it before, what if this whole list that she makes is nothing but rap songs, and everybody that walks in is wearing cowboy boots and hats? Like,
Yep.
well, and there's no country music on
Happened
here.
to me on Sunday, not necessarily rap, but there was a lot more like disco, funk, and like that. But then country was hitting,
Right.
and so
And had you not had the creative freedom to
Yeah.
be able to make that choice, right? Or
they would have just stayed in their seats. Nobody would have been dancing.
right. So that's what we look for, those couples that are hiring us for our experience.
Yeah. Well, this is a good example is on Saturday too. I love this. This is a good comparison between the two because Saturday they gave me very specific direction. Don't play this.
Right.
Play this. But with the 150 do not plays, they gave me 180 requests.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to play from this folder all night. And I just played with it.
Totally.
I mixed it up, did whatever I wanted to, but I realized.
And it's great when it works. When that 180 list is like, and they got it
Well,
spot
they knew
on.
their crowd.
Right.
It was Usher, Ray J.
No
I'll talk about
problem.
it, yeah.
Like easy to
Exactly.
do.
Because they didn't leave. There was at least 40, 50 people consistently because I was playing from their request list. So yeah, they knew their crowd and it was
I hate being bottlenecked to the point where there's like there's no room to breathe, right? And like by that, I know in the past we've had couples that come with us and say, you know what? It's really funny. They'll be like, we like everything except for top 40, 80s, dance music, no country, no classics.
But if you could play like Whitney Houston,
Yeah,
maybe September.
Yeah, but we love September. We love Michael Jackson. But no 80s. So then it's just like,
Well, what do you
do I
know what you
do?
like? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I always when I get something like that, I'll be like, okay, well, just let's focus on the request list, make that playlist because
Right.
you know what you like, and I'll just go from there.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a unique one. I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
I'm glad that worked out for her.
I know. Poor DJ.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he probably was happy with it if it was successful.
5
right?
wedding trends you're going to start.
Right.
All right, next
All
one.
right, let's go to the next one. Here we go. 5 wedding trends that we will see in 2024.
I like it.
I might pause in between each of these. We'll
Okay.
see. Here we go.
5 wedding trends you're going to start to see more of in 2024. First is petite or mini bridal bouquets. Sophia Richie had a stunning wedding this year, and she opted for one of these more petite bridal bouquets. Although these are still gorgeous and breathtaking, you will start to see a smaller, more refined bouquet. Number 2 is
The bouquet stuff is interesting. Like my bride this coming weekend doesn't want to do a bouquet toss because she wants to keep her bouquet. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, typically there's a toss bouquet, right?
usually that's what I know.
Very smaller.
Right. Usually
Or sometimes they'll throw the bridesmaids.
right.
Throw one of theirs.
The actual bridesmaid.
No, they'll normally have like a toss bouquet.
Yeah. But
But I like the idea of smaller bouquets. You probably save money.
right.
You know what I mean? Less
Yeah.
flowers, less work.
Yeah, it looks nice. I think a lot of couples are going more the minimalistic, less is more
Yeah.
route.
Exactly.
Like it's like Maria. Yeah, how you said she didn't want to do any of the pixel tubes or
Yep.
anything like that. Just elegant.
The floral was beautiful, so colorful, so really. I wish I had a photo of it. I'll throw it up on the screen because I've got one.
Cool. All right, here's the next one.
is film and flash photography. Or if your photographer is using a digital camera, the way that they edit them will be the vibe of film and vintage. The reason that brides are loving this style right now is because nobody wants to look back at their wedding and think it just looks trendy. There's a
So she's saying that we're going to see more of the vintage
Grain.
Yeah,
film.
and it's not even. I guess it's kind of grainy, but I think that style. So if there are any couples out there listening, I have a buddy that owns a company. It's called Strap. I think it's Strap Photos. It's a service that we can actually provide for your wedding, and it's actual digital. It's cameras, the little cameras, like film cameras.
Oh, okay.
But you get
Are they disposables?
they're disposables, but you get the pictures delivered digitally. But you actually have to send them in
Yep.
to get
Uh-huh.
to get developed.
Yeah, I got you.
So, and we can get these in 10 packs for your event. And if
Nice,
you want to,
that's fire.
yeah.
I know that.
So my buddy, this is a new venture for him. They've been around for a couple of years now.
Yep.
And they've got this down.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I've done it once, but it was a national brand. Where
Yeah.
you just mail it to somewhere. But local would be sick. You probably get it faster.
Well, they're not local to Albuquerque. I believe they're out of Phoenix.
Okay.
But my buddy,
Either way.
he's from here. Yep, it's strapphotoclub.com if you want to look into it and add this to your event. It's awesome. They originally started
cool.
this out doing festivals, and they've got these kiosks at festivals where you can buy these disposable cameras.
That's sick.
He's got pictures with all kinds of people. Post Malone.
Nice.
Yeah, like all kinds of stuff. So anyways.
No, that's really cool. The disposable camera factor is so awesome. I've done it a couple times. I was a guest at a wedding where we were able to take those, and we saw those photos not too long ago, and they were amazing. And it's that film grain. It's interesting now in this, I'm noticing that even with socials, in this perfect world of immaculate photos everywhere, people are buying digital cameras to go back to the vintage look, to look more grainy, authentic, real.
Well, and what's cool about this too is you've got to send the cameras in, so you don't get the photos immediately, right?
Exactly.
And you get that whole experience that honestly I used to have as a kid.
Yeah.
When you had these disposable cameras, you had to wait. You had to go get the film developed.
Mm-hmm.
There was this excitement and build up, and you get to relive the event all over again.
Yes,
right?
it's really, really cool.
It's really cool. If you want to know more about it, hit me up. We need to have Matt on. That's my buddy. He would come on here and talk about it and talk about his experiences with it.
Definitely.
So we should have him on anyway. He also used to be Cascade's tour manager.
Nice.
So
Yeah, see?
This is his venture. It's
nice.
Super cool.
Yeah, I think it's a super, super smart idea. And the fact that you get to relive it later. I saw something that was kind of similar to this, but it was an app where you take photos and you can't have access to the photos until a week later. And it's like all through the app, and you do whatever. But I like the disposable because it's the feel of it. You know what I mean?
Everything about it.
So 90s. Even 2000s.
I've chatted with him a few times about this because it's a service that I would like to start being able to offer, or at least just to have our couples know about. It's really cool, the experience.
What would that cost if I want 10 cameras?
So
best guess. You don't have to be incredibly accurate.
So I'm looking right now. They have a strap party pack, and it is $161 for a 3-pack. So it's not like...
Do they get developed too?
That's including all the developing. If you wanted a 10-pack, it's $500.
Okay.
So, and you can brand them. You can brand
cool.
the actual... Here, and you might be able to throw this up on the screen.
Nice. Yeah, we'll throw it up. Oh, woo, that looks sick.
Yeah. So you can have
YouTube,
the actual cameras branded for your event. It includes
custom.
And he's broken down the pricing for me because it sounds like pretty pricey, but he's told me if you go right now and you want to go buy a disposable camera, and after all the developing and everything locally, you're going to be paying probably a little bit more than what you would be paying to.
It's about $22 per camera or so.
Right.
Because that's what I was saying is I did it a couple times. It's about $22 or so. And then they try to nickel and dime you for HD, digital, all kinds of stupid extra stuff, But it was a good service, but that was the only one I had known of, right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that we're getting more options is really cool.
It's super cool.
Nice.
All right, that's my plug. Let's see. I'm going to keep it going here with her. I think that was like number 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
The raw, candid, classic aesthetic of film and vintage photography. And if your photographer is able to capture it in that way, it'll always look timeless. Number 3 is the wedding cakes. A smaller, intimate cake just for the bride and groom, or even a petite 2-tiered cake. And then with a smaller cake, you can go for an assortment of mini desserts. Number 4 is very theme-based for the wedding guest dress code. Instead of giving your guests the direction of formal, black tie, cocktail attire, 2024 is about being very literal. Floral frenzy. You could go from monochromatic and tell everybody to wear the same color. Some brides love to do everybody in all white. It adds to the elegance of the evening. This also works for any other color in your palette. As a wedding guest, I think it's actually really helpful to have a very specific wedding dress code theme. Instead of having people guess if this is black tie, if this is appropriate, Adding an attire
heard
card
that.
is also very helpful for your guests. This one says black tie optional and then gives the specific colors that they want their guests to dress in. And number 5 is the private last dance. When all of your guests have left the venue, or it could be when they're all going outside to send you off, you and your husband stay behind for one private last dance. So it's just you, the DJ, and the photographer. It's a special, intimate moment where you and your partner just get to take in what just went on that day.
Yeah, so I like those trends. That
Those are nice.
yeah.
I love it. When we do the private dance, we'll switch the uplighting back to the room lighting, make it really moody,
Right.
and just throw it's funny. One time we did it, and we had the private dance, and I still had the DJ like fun visuals going on, and I was like, go change it, make it like nice, and put the like gold shimmer.
Right.
Because I set the song, did the private dance, stepped out of the shot.
Then
And
you
then I was
saw-
looking at it. I was like, "Oh my god, that's like crazy!" Got this guy like dancing in the background or whatever, and so I went and changed it, and it looked really nice after that.
Yeah, throw on their like back to their monogram or
Yeah.
something like that.
But I loved the theme dressing. Tip number
Yeah.
4. That's sick. Having some kind of theme, whether it's floral, a color, anything like that, to give your guests direction. That's actually pretty cool.
I know at the most recent, we weren't able to attend, unfortunately, but the Shauna with the Wedding Collective,
Yeah.
they did their awards night, and
She always themes it out some way.
they did a
but-
monochromatic theme.
Yeah.
What I really enjoyed
That was cool.
what I saw afterwards was the pictures that they posted with all the people
Yes.
that came in their colors,
Uh-huh.
right? Like here's all the greens, here
Yep.
was all of the
Yellows.
the whites, and
I
the
think there was like one lady wearing yellow, right?
it was so cool though, and I was thinking about that
Yeah, it
for
was
like
cool.
a wedding, like that would be kind of cool, right? Like he had
Oh yeah, to have those group
have
photos.
those group photos.
Hmm.
That would be pretty
That
cool.
would be cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
So that's I'm interested to see if I haven't seen that yet. Any kind of like monochromatic theme
The
stuff.
closest
but-
thing I've seen was for the rehearsal party. They booked us for 2 days, and they needed sound for the rehearsal dinner, and they did a cowboy theme. So everybody came cowboyed out. It was sick. And then Saturday was just kind of formal or whatever. But I loved that they did that for Friday.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, nice. Well, I think it is time.
Oh yeah!
Great Scott!
Run for it, Marty!
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us on this one.
Yeah.
Good vibes, fun events over the weekend. We hope you guys got some tunes maybe out of this one and enjoyed the episode.
Appreciate you all for tuning in. Let's let Usher take us out.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Thank you all. See you guys next time.
See ya.